My name is Asim Sajwani. I'm the CEO and founder of Disruptex and Facilitrolex. Today's session, we will talk about how to create a successful, positive, cash revenue, rich IoT company. In today's world, we see IoT has become a key pillar for all the telcos and major system integrators. And whenever the journey of a telco or a system integrator is starting for selling the IoT platform inside their market or maybe globally, it always starts from certain key elements. One of the key elements is having an IoT platform, white labeling an existing IoT platform, and then selling that IoT platform with various use cases to their end customers. Now, from 2019, I see within the region, there have been a lot of telcos who have started the journey. There have been very, very big telcos from Middle East, North Africa, but none of those companies were ever profitable. All the companies which have started IoT as a key division, and they were, if I'm just talking about being the IoT's division, that's the revenue we just take for the IoT division. None of them have been successful, and I see a lot of them by 2022 and have done the existing platform what they took. So what went wrong? We focus a lot towards the technology, the team, the key players, the technological partners. That has been the biggest issue. But we are missing the business fundamentals. We have to concentrate mainly on the basics of the business. Is the consumer or the end user gonna buy the product what I am offering, and what price I am offering at? The end user is not bothered about are you giving him a LoRaWAN, he's not bothered about are you giving him a Sigfox, LTE, NB-IoT. End user is also not bothered about certain things like what's the platform, what's the architecture of a platform. End user comes to you with a very basic thing that I have a problem. Let's say I have a water leakage. What's your solution? End of story. He will state the problem, you will find a solution around that. And that is what IoT is all about. So what went wrong? Why a lot of IoT businesses are failing, and a lot of telcos I see are trying to come out of that, but they still all the consultants, all the data is suggesting that IoT is one of the key futures for all the smart city and digitalization which is going to happen. So let's first see on the screen at what stage you are entering IoT. A lot of people are thinking that IoT stage or IoT has passed, so to speak. It's something like it's an NFT, okay, or something like that, where there was a peak and then there is a drop suddenly. IoT is not working. No, you have to understand where exactly you are entering in the IoT. IoT started somewhere by 2016, 2017 when LPWAN came in the picture. You have to acknowledge the highlight or the more important element of IoT is revolving around LPWAN. So as of today, IoT has finished the initial phase, and now IoT is going towards the growth stage only. So if today you start the IoT business, it's still early. Right now, IoT technology is going towards growth, where it will eventually going towards a maturity, and then it will go towards the saturation, and from there you will see the number of devices will be getting less and less. But you have to understand that 50% of assets globally needs to be connected by 2040, and this all will be done through IoT. Now, what's the market size? That's one of the key things what you need to know. The market size for an IoT is very huge. We are looking at a $6 trillion market globally by 2040, with around 300 billion devices to be connected. This is very huge. mark my word, from those 300 billion devices, half of the devices will be connected using LPWAN. And when I talk about LPWAN, I'm talking about two major technologies, LoRa, Sigfox. There are other technologies like IoT and other things, but they will be the most prominent technologies. Telcos will play its part. NB-IoT will be one of the major technologies. LTE will be there. That will be converted into 4G, 5G, or whatever 6G, whichever is supposed to come in the future. But this is where you are looking at. And if you're looking at the Middle Eastern market, where we are where Disruptex is predominantly available right now, or where the market we are working, I have a very close outlook on that market. So I can see around 30 billion devices to be connected. Let's say if half of that is coming true also, there will be 15 billion devices, and out of that, if we take 50% of that, that is 7 billion devices to be connected over the time. So there is no doubt that IoT is going to play a very, very important role. Now, taking it forward, okay, I will take you through a typical MENA region journey, and this is how most of the companies are working. They are missing some key elements. Okay, I will be, you'll find me a little bit sarcastic or something, but I'm gonna put all the realities out there. So the first stage, I have seen anyone who wants to start an IoT journey is always go to a consultant, get some numbers out. Those consultant will be calling people, they get some interviews, and they tell you, yes, IoT has a huge market. Yes, no need to waste really money on that. All the studies are available online. IoT is a business where you should focus on. Consultant, although cannot tell you how to do business, they can do the sizing of the market, they can tell you how big the market is, but where we will focus today is how you should be actually doing the business and what's the actual cost of entering the business also. Now, normally I have seen if anyone wants to start an IoT company, they simply go to, let's say, one of the competitors, and they say, yes, okay, this is the guy, we will be taking it. Something is very funny. One of an iconic project, okay, for UAE has been Hassan Tuk, okay, in IoT. If I talk about it from the civil defense perspective, there are hundreds of thousands of sensors being deployed. I have met at least 100 people till now, and everyone says I am the original architect, I'm the original guy who started Hassan Tuk. So, if you're relying on one person to start that business, sometimes that's not the right step. I have seen in my conference people coming in and they simply say to my staff that, come, I write you a blank check. No, it's a team, okay? It's a team effort, what you need to do, and you have to understand, apart from the government project, what are the other things those people have done. Now, I like to call that person a suspect A, okay? And suspect A, normally what he does when he goes into a company, he brings all his sidekicks from his past organization. Suspect A then will call one of his friends that I am leaving this job. My company has asked me that recommend me someone who will replace you. We call that person a suspect B. Suspect B joins the suspect A's organization. Within 3 months, what he'll do, he'll just simply say, sorry, all the plans or all the things what suspect A has done are null and void. I don't see it working. And after that time, both suspect A and suspect B are going on a journey which is very, very unique. I call it an IoT journey, where they will learn certain things about IoT, and this is the 24 months journey normally, where a lot of these things what I'm going to show you will be coming out all the time. Now, this is a typical journey. First of all, let's create a team, get a guy who will do research, get a guy who has all the contacts from the vendors, get a guy who is doing a cloud architecture, have a manager on top of them, throw in certain IoT key positions, and here you go, the team is ready. And now let's do an RFP. If I take the RFPs which are within the regions, all the RFPs, if I put it in a, let's say, ChatGPT, and I say, okay, can you tell me? I can tell you. Okay, and I have actually done it, and the ChatGPT was saying that this RFP is 79% copied from this one, this RFP is copied from this one. This is all the same. So what is that? It's the same element of RFPs which was created. You move to a new organization, you ask for a friend, and then to make RFP relevant that you have done something, you always add new elements. So you take it like an Indian, film, and you keep on adding more and more emotion and drama. That's how the RFPs are progressing. I have seen in RFPs things which are completely non-realistic right now, and then you always have a consultant blessing on top of it, but again, understand, see, consultant is gonna validate the numbers. You say, okay, I'm gonna bring in 500,000 smart lights, I'm gonna bring 500,000 waste management. Yes, he's gonna validate the numbers, but can you sell those lights? Can you sell those waste management? What are the key problems you're gonna have? I'm not gonna talk about technology here. You can talk about, no, my technology is better, this technology is better. No, let's talk about like an MBA class of an IoT. Let's make a business case and let's see that how you can make it profitable. Now, the fourth step I see these days within RFP, which is pretty much confusing, that ask for codes of platform. Trust me, you can't do anything with those codes as of today. We have around 64 members doing development. This development process has been going on for 4 years. Financially, we are there for like nearly 1 year, 10 months, but there has been a 4 years effort by those 60 people. If I give it to you, trust me, you can't do anything of that. You need an army of people just to understand that. Anyone who comes in my organization as of today, if I want to make sure that he does some development, there's a training, a crash course program with all the documentation for 3 months before I can actually make him write a single line on my platform. So asking codes, trust me, it's not gonna work. Unlimited licenses, it's also unrealistic, because if someone is ready to give you unlimited licenses and the codes, they're trying to dump the platform. Ask for free POCs. Now this is something which is working within the MENA region, and that's completely unrealistic. Every one of the company I go, they say, because I am this, you should give me a POC. Because I am this, trust me, this because I am this is gonna bite you back later. I'll show you where it's gonna come and haunt you back. And then imaginative payment terms. Now this is something like, pathetically, something depressing which is running. I'm gonna pay you money in 6 weeks or 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, like that. So these are all things which are not helping you to actually grow within the market. What's the outcome normally I have seen of those RFPs? 8 out of 10 RFPs never mature. You know that. You see the RFPs which have come out. None of those RFPs have ever matured. You spend 3 to 6 months. There's people, there are 5 or 6 people writing an RFP, but the RFP never matures. Why the RFP is not maturing? Because once you will have the RFP findings, you can't make a business case out of them. And then the RFP evaluation phase is around 6 to 12 months. You call the companies, you will be going back and forth till you will eventually decide on something. Most of the RFPs have bid bonds which are very, very high, so only few companies will go for them. And there is always personal likes and dislikes of suspect A and B, which are very, very important to understand. Now, what are the RFP findings? Now I'm going to make your job very, very easy. Trust me, you want to do this thing, run it, and this is what you're going to find. First of all, if you want to white label an IoT platform, if you want to have an IoT platform, a decent IoT platform, okay, here you go. This is a white labeling cost. 5 years of annual maintenance contract is going to cost you around $1.5 to $2.5 million. LoRa network server, as I said, if half the devices are going in LP-WAN, you need to acknowledge it. Most of the telcos, if you see, Orange right now has deployed a full blanket network of LoRa network server in France. A lot of other companies are now deploying LoRa network, complete end-to-end service. The telcos initially were thinking LoRa or LP-WAN is against their business, but now they're acknowledging, because some of the cases, let's say if you're going in indoor asset tracking, can't be done by LT, can't be done by NB-IoT. You have to use the LP-WAN technology. So here, you need to understand, you need to adopt them. If you're looking for a LoRa network server, which most of the telcos are now having with them, but none of the RFPs, I've seen 9 out of 10 RFPs miss those LoRa network servers completely. Then the use case development costs. This is one of the most important thing. Do remember, you need to have a comprehensive use case. We understand between between a proper application of use case and just a dashboard builder. Most of the people are getting confused, and sometimes they use Power BI. There are certain platforms now coming up. You just show the dashboard. It's not gonna work. This is just dashboards, it's just showing you the data. Yes, but this is not an IoT platform. Please understand this. You need to spend money, and per use case development on those platforms is somewhere between 250,000 to $1 million. Ask these questions because many of the people who have adopted the platform, I know a telco who have adopted a platform, they're sitting on a platform and now they say, shit, okay, we really can't do anything because we haven't budgeted those use case development, and once I put that cost, I can't sell it. Go to market time 12 to 36 months. Till the time you enter the market, the whole game is gonna change. Like someone has upped their game, of course. It's a fast moving market. You need to cut down on that. So eventually, if you see in a RFP, you will understand that if you want to enter IoT with all the things, I haven't added the salaries and all the other expenses. I'm just talking about the IoT platform right now. You are spending around $3.5 million to $7 million, and this is a realistic thing. We recently had an RFP for 268 devices, okay, which was air quality and vibration or something like that. It was from a roads and transportation authority of one of the countries. And then on those 268 devices, okay, people were quoting around $5 to $6 million with somewhere around total time to go to market, which was coming somewhere around, if I am correct, somewhere 14 to 18 months. Because this is how you do the whole thing. You have to understand this is not at all possible. These values, what you are seeing, does not include core license fees, device license fees, tenancy license fees. And if you take it together, keep 10,000 devices as your benchmark. I have done a lot of business cases on IoT, and 10,000 devices is where your break even is going to happen for me. If you cannot make a business case with that much devices, don't start with 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million devices. You are gonna go it wrong, because that's where your first mistake is. You see the consultant's data and you put 500,000, 1 million devices. No, it's not gonna work. Start with 10,000 devices and then put all the numbers what you are seeing on the screen, and once you divide them, that you find out that per device I'm spending around $800 to $1,500, $160 per device per year. Now let's go and post RFP findings. So this is something more very important for anyone who's starting that, because that's something you realize later once you have signed up to something. And this was the key why major telcos, I can name 5 of those, I can't name them here, okay, but I know 5 of the telcos who adopted the IoT platform, and then they had this post RFP finding. First thing, software development ecosystem is limited. You thought that there is an amount of people, yes, we can do it. I have seen in biggest IoT platform which runs here, if you want to do a fleet management platform, you're gonna pay $1 million. I know a lot of people have done those calculations. They will verify what I'm saying is so true. $1 million just to do one use case, because software development ecosystem is limited. Do remember, when you have $1 million and when you enter the market, how in the earth with that $3.5 million or whatever you have spent earlier, how you're gonna compete with platforms like Wylon, Loconap? These are very, very well developed and mature platforms. They are offering licenses at $3 to $4 per device per month. How are you gonna compete with them? Multi-license complexity. People don't understand the core license, device license, tenancy license, and most of the time this gets very complex. Anyone who will come to you, and tenancy license, people do not understand that properly. Anytime when these platforms are saying, okay, we are multi-tenant, yes, but then you are spinning in a new multi-tenant, you have to redeploy all the apps. There's a huge cost behind that. Once you do that sort of a logic, Do remember, the guy who comes in will come in with 5 to 10 devices. I have customers, I have big facility management company who came with 10 devices of water quality monitoring. Now they have gone 200 devices per year, but it always starts with 5 or 10 devices. So those tenancy and everything, you need to make sure that those can be immediate, those can happen immediately on those platforms, and you're not having those multi-license complexities behind them. Some platforms you will end up with 30 to 100 VMs. I know within UAE there is a platform which runs on 150 VMs. That's really that's seriously a murder of a platform. It's too big. It is really a big problem for you later to manage that. And finally, did you talk to the end customer? As per me, we have changed and evolved in that IoT journey. See, success not happens by an accident, failure not happens by an accident. Success always has tracks behind that. For my IoT journey, there has been tracks, and those tracks were what? My customer interactions. If the success, whatever we are having, is cause of those tracks only. So you have to understand that talking to end customer is gonna change the journey. They will come up with so many things you haven't thought about. So this is, and that is again what? That's a development cost. You have to spend money to keep on doing those things. And then, okay, hardware ecosystem, no one tested. You are having a platform. I have seen people having a platform. Then, in a corporate, if you, let's say today you want to buy hardware, you and me, we know each very clearly that it's going to take you at least 6 months just to get that hardware, maybe 3 to 6 months just to get the hardware actually with you. Do you know, as DisruptX, we spend $150,000 per year just on hardware testings. We don't buy one hardware, we buy at least 50 units of every hardware. We actually put it in different countries with various customers on our cost just to test that ecosystem. Have you ever considered the network server cost? You forget about the infrastructure cost. Then mobile apps, multilingual, API customization. You need to have API which is B2B, and those APIs should be also B2B2C also. Have you ever thought about that? And finally, where's your investment on POCs? You have been asking about free POCs. Your customers are gonna ask for free POCs. You know what I am talking about. When you suddenly go there in the market, then you come running back to the vendor. Hey, can I have free POCs? Can I have free POCs? No. So you can't have, because of course as a vendor I have 100 customers. I cannot keep on giving free POCs all the time. You will have another 100 customers, so the vendor cannot do that for, let's say, 1000 customers. It's not possible for any of the vendors. So you need to have those budgets to be done. People will first try it. People do not directly adopt them. Now, what's the end user ground reality? I have divided into various use cases, and let me break it down. You'll have metering, IAQ, you have fleet, you have asset tracking, you have video analytics, you have indoor asset tracking. So there is a capex cost of a hardware which will be involved with it. With the capex cost, you have to also think about the communication cost, be it LoRa, be it Sigfox, be it NB-IoT, be it LTE. There is a cost behind that. With that, if you're using the public infrastructure, so there are now public, LoRa infrastructure companies coming in. So within UAE, you have Digital Diva has its company InfraX, okay? If you go in Oman, there is the Doom right now. These are actually offering public infrastructure services on LPWAN, so you can actually utilize those infrastructures, take the cost of that. Platform license cost. Okay, now this is what you need to understand. This is a device license cost. To remember, that was what I was talking about. Remember, the license is device license, code license, tenancy license. You have to put those device license. This is not your white labeling cost. And then the 5 years package, what you will do with those things. So this is how you can sell it. You have to package it and present it to the customer. But remember, earlier, without the core tenancy and device licenses, you were sitting somewhere at around $800 to $1,500 as per your RFP findings. Now, this is what you have to sell it. Now, what you should actually look for if you will go with the hardware costs and communication costs, infrastructure costs, platform license costs, and with the 5 years package, this is something what you should actually look for. These are your margins which are going to cover your operation, your salaries, and everything. And this is from where you need to make money to actually reduce those initial capex investments what you have done. This is something very, very important. Now let's look for an IoT, for an anatomy of an IoT use case. Now let's break it down. So your first thing is a white label cost. White labeling is for the IoT platform you took in from the start. Then of course you have to take the LNS. Don't forget about LNS. It's gonna bite you later, because that, if you haven't budgeted, it's gonna come later and suddenly you are not ready for it. And then what you do, you are not able to plan for it. And why we are doing this? So sometimes the question comes, why I need to have it? If you want to sell, let's say in Saudi, the data residency is very important for government, for bigger companies. The data should stay within the country. Same within UAE. In fact, most of the countries have data residency laws where you need to put the data within the specific country, maybe within the specific region if it's a EU or something, which is a little bit more flexible. But cause of that, the white labeling of the platform is very, very important. Always sign a 5 years AMC with another 5 years which can sit, and where you can protect the AMC cost. Do not leave it by 5 years. At least do 10 to 15 years contract. You are signed up for first 5 years, then next 5 years the AMC cost should not drastically increase. I see people suffering cause of that. And also consider the AMC cost for your network server also. Now here the problem is, okay, I just know Disruptex is the only platform globally which has a built-in network server. But let's say if you're taking any other IoT platform, you have to manage between a network server and also an IoT platform. So that's a juggle where you will be having user issues and everything. But let's say you have to consider that. The use case development. Do remember, use case development is the key. If you're thinking with 5 use cases, no sir, you need to have at least 30 to 40 use cases if you want to address the smart city. You know, just let's say if I take you within the smart washroom, there will be an air quality, there can be occupancy sensor, there can be a smart service sensor, there can be a waste bin sensor, there can be, let's say, soap sensor, there can be odor sensor. You see, so many things I have said. This is all happening within one smart washroom. So with few use cases, if you're entering the market, maybe you're saying, oh, these are my 5 big use cases. But if you're trying to serve the global market, or let's say the whole smart city market, you need more use cases. Communication costs is very, very important. You need to make sure that you are having a license cost of network servers, and also the infrastructure costs of LPWAN has to be considered. Finally, but not least, you have to consider about the hosting costs. Okay, do not deploy some of the RFPs I see, and I like earlier I was talking about the RFP with 268 devices. The RFP was basically an air quality and sound, but you know the funny thing, what was there in that RFP, they wanted an edge server for that. I don't know why you need an edge server. So do not complicate that these findings or your RFPs itself. You need to keep it very basic and simple, but consider the hosting cost. Your platform should be lightweight. You cannot take a tank to just kill a small fly. Now take all the cost, okay, divided by 5 years. Take the rule of thumb, 10,000 devices. Take all the numbers in, and if the number is coming greater than $19 per device per year, I repeat it, yes, $19 per device per year, as a friend, as a brother, as a consultant, as a person who has seen in and out of IoT world, revisit your business model. You need to rethink what is going wrong. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having this small, the interaction between us. Please leave the comments in the section if you have any other questions, kindly email me. My email will be there. You can always, shoot an email to one of our consultants within the company. I'm more than happy to answer these questions. I'm more than happy to interact with you. Again, you may disagree with whatever things I have said. It's not about the technology, it's about the numbers. I am focusing very heavily on numbers. Many of the people will say, come back, no, you haven't considered this, you haven't considered that. Let's talk about numbers right now. Let's try to make a successful business case. If you want to enter into an IoT arena inside your own region, let's have that business case there. And do remember one thing: if you want to succeed in IoT, if you are just entering as a operator, or maybe you say, no, I'll just supply the hardware. No, sir. In IoT, the success word is end-to-end solution. Remember, I told you, customer will state its problem, you will give a solution. And for that, you need to be an end-to-end IoT solution provider. That is your key. Do not keep it just maybe that, okay, I can just sell LoRaWAN. I know I have been to big companies, okay, up till now within the region, and when I say LPWAN, I say LoRaWAN, the guy has no freaking idea what I am talking about. So you need to be end to end. But if I tell the guy that you have this problem, I can do this, he is like, oh yeah, that's it, that's what I am looking for. So understanding the IoT use cases and how you can progress in an IoT business world, that has been the key. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Asim Sajwani, and I'll be waiting for your questions. Thank you.